Hi, and welcome to the Sabbath Christian Church's online sermon. The third commandment says, "You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain." What do you mean in vain? Something in your body? Oh, in vain. This has a strange word that the Hebrew uses, but it has a very powerful meaning. It has a meaning that when someone takes the name of the Lord your God in vain, they're not talking about the real God. They are talking about a false God pretending to be the real God, taking his name in vain because it's not the things that he can do. The English meaning and synonym of vain shows a lack of respect to God, seeing God as ineffective. And this is a very powerful meaning for many people in the world. It says that he is unsuccessful. Well, there's some scientists today that begin to disagree with that. Now the Hebrew meaning of vain is shav. Gotta have the right Hebrew accent. And it means emptiness. Taking God's name, emptiness. They don't believe that he is the creator God. And he is unsuccessful and failed. So they don't believe, they can say that, but God is warning them in his commandments. Not me. Don't make me out to be a vain idol. Don't do that. The Hebrew meaning of shav is emptiness and worthless and lies, as well as literal ruin morally, evil, useless, deceptive, lying. So they're using God as something that he's not. He is the opposite of all those things. Thy word is truth. Now, the great book of going into details of the Hebrew is the book called the Theological Word Book of the Old Testament. And they go into a lot of detail in this thing. And that starts off saying that the word shav is used 52 times. In vain and vainly to no avail. And we talked about the main place for shav, which of course is in the third commandment. Jeremiah 2:30 says, "In vain I have struck your sons," because they were in vain. They were worshiping idols and calling them God. And they accepted no chastening. God said, behave yourself, whack. No chastening. The sword has devoured your prophets like a destroying lion. Nothing worked. Once these people have this in mind, they won't stop. The most familiar use of shav, of course, is the third commandment, and Exodus 27 and Deuteronomy 5:11, where all the commandments are repeated. Because the first time they got the commandments down, Moses was upset with what the people did, and he smashed them. God gave them a new set later on in Deuteronomy. Now the primary meaning of shav is emptiness, vanity. God is not empty, he's not vain. Anyone that makes it that way. It designates anything that is unsubstantial, unreal, vanity, worthless, idols, all of that, making God into that. Some specific scriptures here. Psalm 26:4, "Do not sit with deceitful men, nor will I go. I do not sit with deceitful men," David, "nor will I go with pretenders." Another good word in vain, pretending to be the God. He says, "I hate those who regard vain idols." He puts the two words together right on the head. "But I trust in the Lord." He says, "Turn my eyes away from looking at vanity and revive me in your ways." David has some problems He went off the track once or twice. Isaiah said, "Bring me your worthless offerings no longer." Don't come to me and saying that you are doing this to the real God. You're pretending that I'm the real God, and it's for idols. He says, incense is an abomination to me. New moons and Sabbaths, changes the Sabbath, changes the new moons, calling of assemblies. And he says, I cannot endure this iniquity anymore. So, sort of like, yeah, you have a little bit of this, but no, it's not the real thing. It's in vain. It's false. It's phony. It's evil, worthless gods. Jeremiah 18:15 calls them. To walk in the bypass, not on the highway. Looks like, but it isn't it. That's what makes it so difficult for people, because, well, it looks like it's okay. There are, to the words of a false prophet, who come along and whitewash and sugarcoat a gloomy situation and hoping people believe him so they'll follow him instead of the real people of God. Your prophets have seen you false and foolish vision, not exposing your iniquity to restore you to captivity. They have seen you false and misleading oracles. It goes on and it goes on and it goes on. Ezekiel 13:6 to 9, he says, they see falsehood and lying divinations. The Lord has not sent them. He says, don't look at false visions or speak with lying divinations, the Lord declares. He goes on to say, because you have spoken falsehood and seen a lie, I am against you, says God. Not who he is or who he wants people to think he is. So my hand will be against those prophets who see false visions and lying divinations. No place in the council of people, nor written down in the register of the house of Israel. They will not enter the land of Israel, that you may know that I am the Lord your God, he says to us. Nobody else that does things in vain that are opposite and false and evil to whom God really is. All the vanities of false gods pretending to be the real God, who then attacks and destroys them. Amen. And thank you for watching and listening.